Granblue Fantasy Relink is the new multiplayer action RPG by Cygames. Very reminiscent of other titles like Monster Hunter, this is an absolutely fantastic entry into the space that so many of us have been yearning for. Whether you're into your action RPGs, JRPGs, or other similar titles, there is so much fun to be had with Granblue Fantasy Relink. Having played it for quite some time since its release now, probably around 50 or so hours, and having made my way fully through the story and arrived comfortably into the endgame, there are quite a few nuggets of wisdom that I have now which I wish I had at the beginning of the game. I'm going to share these with you here today so you can avoid the same 5 mistakes or possibly just misunderstandings when you're going through the game. Up first is all about sigils. Sigils make up the largest part of the game's gearing system in my opinion. They're going to provide the most flexibility with your builds, allowing you to focus on specific traits to really bolster them and level them up. You're also going to consistently get lots of trash sigils in that they're skills that you're not interested in at all and they're lower level. Do not sell these sigils. It's not worth it. You're not going to get many rupees for them anyway, and there is such a better way that you can use them. When you get it unlocked, you're able to trade them for knick-knack vouchers instead. These vouchers will then be consumed via the game's gacha system, where you can transmute sigils and stones. This is how you're going to get really rare and really strong sigils, and it's going to be absolutely pivotal, key for powering up your character and achieving the build that you're going after. You're going to cherish your low level and your trash sigils actually, because they'll allow you to get tons of vouchers. Just don't sell them for rupees. Secondly, it's a very common one that's covered in these sorts of guides, and I'm going to put it here as well because it really is worth repeating. It's super important to know. When you start the game, you have all of the game's base characters. You're going to be able to unlock the whole roster of them via crewmate cards, which you'll accumulate during your story adventure and by completing optional quests as well. After very specific points in the game, the level and the amount of masteries these characters will come with when you unlock them via a crewmate card increases exponentially. 2 key points to keep in mind are after you've beaten the story, characters will come at level 45 and around 50% of their mastery tree completed. If you can hold out further until you've unlocked Maniac difficulty, they'll come at level 60 with around 70% of their mastery tree unlocked. This is going to save you so much time farming for mastery points and other things to power up these characters. So just be mindful when you do get your crewmate cards. I wouldn't necessarily go and unlock all of the characters you can and use them all up when you can just hold on to them for a little while to really save yourself some grinding in the long run. That's not to say that you shouldn't use any of them early whatsoever. You absolutely should. If there's 1 or 2 characters you really like the look of, definitely unlock them whenever you want to. I personally unlocked Narmaya really early, and I was umming and ahhing about Siegfried, but I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna wait. I'm pretty happy with Narmaya and all the base characters. They're all super fun as well. Let me unlock Maniac difficulty first. And now that I've done that, I've unlocked Vane, and he's absolutely dope, and I'm gonna unlock more soon. Nugget of wisdom number 3 is to not be afraid to upgrade all of your weapons and masteries as much as you like. The reason I say this is because I know a lot of us who play these sorts of games almost have like paralysis with this. We absolutely do not want to use precious resources up in a wasteful way. Like, what if you only ever get one of this thing, or what if it's super hard to then get that thing? I totally get it. However, absolutely everything in this game is farmable, and that's a core part of the game. When it comes to upgrading your weapons and your masteries, you're going to be able to do this really easily just by playing through the game, completing side quests, farming for optional missions, and just having a good time actually playing through the game. You are going to need to get through these upgrades anyhow, so none of them are actually a waste. The only thing I would say with regards to that is to focus on a few characters who you feel like you're going to be maining, either as part of your core offline party or 1 or 2 initially that you're going to be playing with online. The only one I would say to hold back on is with your sigils. You don't necessarily have to upgrade all of these as you're going. You're going to consistently, continually get better ones. The power creep with sigils is really fast and really strong. But I mean, if you've got all the spare materials to do so, don't be afraid to do that as well. You can. I would just maybe focus on the level 4 ones and above, above, rather than necessarily chucking in upgrades on your level 2 or level 3 ones. But even then, if you've got stuff like Tyranny at level 3, which I still do, they're pretty useful to upgrade. So just kind of, keep it in mind. My fourth pro tip for you is something that I only realized after unlocking Maniac difficulty. This is how long into playing the game I didn't realize this for. When you're in your masteries tree, the collection tab for all the different weapons that you have for a character have various nodes that you can upgrade depending on how much you've upgraded that respective weapon. This may be obvious to a bunch of you, and it should really be obvious to me, because I've played plenty of different styles of RPG, JRPG, even mobile game. But these mastery nodes are not only when you have that specific weapon equipped. They are global bonuses that are always permanently active, irrespective of which weapon you have equipped. It seems so obvious, but I just didn't click. And I was wondering, why is my Narmaya, who's so strong, so beefy, struggling with all this content? It's because she was lacking all these HP upgrades and stuff like that. I just had her with thousands of HP less than she should have been on. So adding to even the previous point as well, do not be afraid to upgrade all your weapons. Unlock them as soon as you can. Unlock them all. Have a main focus on which one you're using to upgrade, of course, but don't be afraid to upgrade all of them, and then unlock the corresponding masteries, as these masteries within collections will be global bonuses and will really help you out. Don't be me. Don't be lighted up Dan. Do not figure this stuff out in endgame. Again, I might be alone on that one, and if I am, all the better. I'm happy. I don't want people to struggle like I did. And lastly, this is going to be super helpful for those of you who are coming from Monster Hunter World like myself. You are going to want a place to be able to test out your characters, test out your skills, test out your builds. You've probably seen or experienced in some way, shape or form the training dummy, but you've been scratching your head thinking, how the heck do I get back there? I don't know how to do this. I think at some point it is explained, but it wasn't until much later on that I actually realized you can go back to it, or rather how to get back to it, because I was searching through the menus, looking through the journal and stuff, couldn't find it. To get back to the training dummy, you just need to make your way back over to the Grand Cipher, your ship, in between quests when you're still in the story, back in a hub town. And once you're done with the story, just in between your optional missions that you're doing. Then you'll find the dummy just lying there in the corner, you go up to it, and you are teleported to a little training instance. Over here, you can test your skills rotations, your sigil loadouts, new characters, absolutely everything you want. You can also set various parameters like your skills being instantly on cooldown, the dummy attacking back for anything like parry abilities and stuff, the damage counter resetting, etc. It's so much easier to pick up the basics of a new character here than it is in the heat of a quest. So if you've unlocked a new character and you're just trying to get a hold of how their core combat works, because each character is so different, they've got a different meter or a different thing about them, you will pick up their gimmicks and their combat rotations, their combat loops, so much easier here with the training dummy than in the heat of a quest. Those are my 5 mistakes, all pieces of information to keep in mind with Granblue Fantasy Relink. I wish I knew all of this before, if not to avoid the mistakes, just to have some peace of mind that, like, hey, there's a use for these trash sigils, or hey, there is a reason you can hold on to your crewmate cards. So much needed peace of mind. And with that, friends, I'm going to let you crack on with your newfound wisdom. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you can subscribe for some more action RPGs, roguelikes, and MMOs, including more Granblue Fantasy Relink and Monster Hunter World if you like that too. I also live stream these games with multiplayer in open lobbies with you folks, so do feel free to follow on Twitch. And I've recently just opened up the Discord community, which was a previously closed community. Jump in there and talk Granblue Fantasy Relink with us. All these links can be found in the description. But until next time, I'll see you in the Sky Realm.